Hello, everyone. Welcome to Club IDIC. Tonight we are watching Lineage from Star Trek Voyager, and the discussion topic is Be Not Ashamed of Yourself. Please enjoy this evening. Hello, Eileen, I see you. Welcome. Hello.
Hi, I finally unmuted myself. Sorry, I was having trouble.
Welcome to Club IDIC.
Yeah.
It's good to see you.
I know you've had several meetings before. I haven't had a chance to get to one.
That's okay. You know what? Anybody can come at any time. And you know, so people don't feel excluded, I actually record past meetings and then everybody can see them so you don't feel left out.
Mm-hmm.
And we're switching to Fridays starting today and going forward. We're having another meeting on the 10th because I've actually got some real life things. So we're going to be a little more quiet in December, but in January, we're popping right back up again to weekly Fridays as often as possible.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so glad people are starting to come, though. I'm very happy about that. The word's getting out there.
Mm-hmm.
So where do you hail from?
Weymouth, Mass.
Weymouth. That is very cool. And how did you hear about us?
Well, I heard about you guys through one of the other Star Trek clubs that I belong to on Facebook.
That's great. That's really
Yeah.
good. I'm glad they're talking about us positively enough that people will come.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I belong to the Deep Space Nine group.
Oh, I love them. Oh, I'll have to thank them for sending people.
Yeah. I also belong to the straight Star Trek group. The one that's just called Star Trek.
Yeah, that's great. They let me advertise in there, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Tiffany Levette, one of the moderators, actually got me a cameo from Casey Biggs for my recent birthday, and she was so nice to do that. Because I just turned 34 a few days ago.
Okay. He's a really good singer.
Oh, I've not heard him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's in the Enterprise Blues Band. But,
Oh.
yeah.
Yeah, do you have access to Star Trek tonight, like watching it?
What station?
We're watching an episode of Voyager tonight.
Okay, what station are you watching it on?
Well, anybody watches it however they want, or if people don't have access, I can always set up a teleparty.
Okay.
Yeah, we're watching an episode called Lineage.
Mm-hmm.
That'll give you plenty of time to queue it up and see if you need help accessing it.
Where do you usually watch it from? Because I thought it was removed from Netflix.
Oh,
was that removed?
Are you?
Weren't they all? I think they're all removed from Netflix, but might be Amazon or probably Paramount.
I live in Canada actually, so I still have it on Netflix, but I also subscribed to Crave because I was worried that it was going to get removed from Netflix. So I have access. So but I can figure out a teleparty.
No, I think I can pick it up from Paramount.
Because I don't want anybody to go without.
Yeah.
Because that's not what we're about here. We're about everybody being able to take part and nobody going without. So. Are you in our groups?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Because we just want to make sure you have access to everybody and everything. And we're small, but we're getting there. We just had a Star Trek star follow us on Twitter, so we're all happy about that. And I don't know if he'll actually do anything or come to any meetings, but he knows about us and he said hi, so that's something. And that's always good for morale this close to Christmas, you know, especially with COVID being bad again.
Yeah. Well, I've had all 3 shots.
Yeah.
I've had my 2 Pfizer shots, and I had a Moderna booster.
Oh, you're in the Pfizer club too? Fist bump, sweet. Yeah, the Alberta government, Alberta's the province where I live. It's just authorized shots for kids ages 5 to 11. So that's something, and that'll make me feel better about where I'm volunteering. I'm volunteering for a community trade show pretty soon. And since kids are going to be able to get vaccinated, I'm going to be doing some cookie decorating at that trade show. So the fact that kids can get vaccinated makes me feel a little better.
But you can't get a booster yet in Canada?
Not my age group. No, I'm only 34.
Okay. Well, I'm 55.
We're only doing it for the more mature people. I hesitate to say older because I don't want to get offending people.
It's okay. It's okay. Here in America, everybody over the age of 18 can now get boosters.
Oh, you're in America, right? Weymouth.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah,
that's
that's
a bad
fine.
memory.
No, they've reduced it. They were at 65 or people with health problems, and I have health problems, so.
Oh yeah, I
get
get
it.
you. I understand you. So I kind of do. Yeah.
Well, I have high blood pressure. I've had it since the age of 40.
Oh, that's too bad.
And I have obesity too.
That sucks. I'm sorry. Yeah. I hope that like people are talking about a new variant in Europe, and it scares me. It really does.
Mhm.
At least clubs like this will have longevity if variants keep popping up, and you know, people want to join these more. And that'll be good. Because you know, everybody wants to go to the conventions, but we still got to be careful. I mean, I want to go to the conventions, but I got to be careful too. I got a thing, and who knows what would happen with that thing if I got COVID. I'm vaccinated, but
How many conventions have you been to?
I've been to an entertainment expo in 2013. I've been to Volcon and was it 2016? I've been to Star Trek Las Vegas 2016 and 2017 and a Comic-Con. But not very many.
Yeah. I've been to both the Boston and Las Vegas Star Trek convention in 2013.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, and I've been to the Women of Sci-Fi convention too.
Oh, what? I didn't know that Women of Sci. What is that?
And that was earlier. That was like all aspects of sci-fi. So they had people from Farscape, Star Trek, from Doctor Who. Yeah.
Okay.
And even Stargate.
That sounds cool. Like, I think Yeah, when my dad was alive, he liked Stargate a lot and he watched it and he had the DVDs, but I haven't really seen it. I've thought about it because people have said it's really good, but I've mostly watched Star Trek. Is it really good? Is Stargate good?
Yes, that's really pretty good.
Like, I know there's a bunch of Stargates and spin-offs and things, right?
Yeah, but the original one was Stargate SG-1, and that was really good.
Yeah. I
It
might.
had Armin Shimmerman in it.
Oh, was he there?
No, not at the Women of Sci-Fi. No, it was all women.
No, but was he in Stargate?
Yeah, he was. Yeah,
Oh.
he played this like being from another planet that was a nature-driven character.
That sounds really, really cool, actually. I can't believe he's never mentioned that before.
He had like wild hair.
That's amazing. I wonder if Walter Koenig was in it too. I think, was he in Battlestar Galactica? Was it that he played? Was it Bester? What was his name in that?
I'm just thinking, he did write for Land of the Lost, Walter Koenig.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because I was just watching Land of the Lost the other day, and it said written by Walter Koenig. It was like one episode.
That's awesome. Yeah, Walter is very nice. He's
Right,
been in
Jake
Star
is
Trek
gone.
Las Vegas. Yes, Jake. Jake is awesome.
Hey, how's it going?
Jake, we have a new friend.
Hello,
Hi,
how are you?
good.
How is everybody's night?
Oh,
Fine.
good.
Good.
So tonight's gonna be a little weird for me because I should have got laundry done and I have to really do it. I can't skip it, so I might be in and out. And the episode, I'll probably be about 10 minutes late getting back, probably. So I'm gonna
Well,
have to
that's
pause it.
fine. That's fine. We'll wait for you if you want.
That's up to you guys. I don't want to hold you guys up. So
Well, what have we told you before, Jake? Honestly, think about it. You're not an inconvenience and you don't need to be ashamed of needing a little bit of extra time. You know, that's a perfect segue into our topic for the evening. Be not ashamed of yourself.
Mhm.
Jake always seems to get us into our topic, and I love that. And, you know, I picked Lineage because that's basically what it's about. Lineage is about B'Elanna Torres suddenly realizing that she's going to become a mother and suddenly realizing that she hasn't come to terms with her Klingon heritage and she's ashamed of it because her hybrid heritage and her struggles with it and her father's human struggles with it are what led to the breakup of her family. So what are your thoughts on all that?
I've done DNA analysis, and I found out that I was 4% Neanderthal and 1% Denisovan. But I'm about 75% from the British Isles and 25% from Germany.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty cool. Uniqueness is amazing. I too have done DNA and played with it in GEDmatch, and the uniqueness is amazing. And we shouldn't be ashamed of it. But sometimes we are. And Jake looks like he has something to say down there. I can tell by his expression.
Oh, I've actually never done that, actually. But I'm always interested in hearing about people's lineages and where they come from and things.
I actually did 3 different analysis. Ancestry DNA, National Geographic, and 23andMe.
Yeah. Isn't it cool what we can learn about ourselves? And, you know, even if the results might be unexpected, we shouldn't be ashamed of any of it. Because that's part of it. That's part of us. That's part of who we are.
Yeah, with 23andMe, you can find out what's wrong with you too.
Yeah,
like
the
what
health
you may
thing.
get.
So what is that? Is that like genetic defects or
Yes, like
Everything.
Parkinson's, if you might have a tendency to get Parkinson's or a tendency to get factor 5 Leiden, which is a blood clotting disorder or something like that.
Yeah. And you know, this actually, it's interesting we're discussing defects, because this actually, I don't know if you've seen the episode, have you? This actually comes up in the episode
Yes.
too, remember? 'Cause
I've watched all of Voyager.
The doctor tells him about the little curvature of the spine and how he can correct it. Well, and the baby's in the womb, and then B'Elanna suddenly starts seeing, oh, can I manipulate this computer into erasing my baby's Klingon heritage because I'm ashamed? We should really never be ashamed of ourselves, even if we're different. It's not something we should do, but we do it. Why? Why do we do it? Let's drop that discussion on the table. Why do you think we do it?
Because people make fun of us, especially when we're kids. Like when I was a kid, people would say, you should dye your hair. No one should have red hair. Yeah. So I didn't like that. People would do that.
Yeah, people can be really cruel, and especially school children can be cruel to each other. And that's, you know, bullying in schools is so high, and that's where the problems of adult problems come in. They probably start within school years, because kids get bullied and tragic.
Particularly elementary school years, I think.
Yeah.
Because that's when kids have no filter. At least when they're older, they tend to realize that they're hurting people. And so I just found that all the cruelty was when I was in my elementary school years.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't know, parents don't really help the kids learn how to be kinder, because they feel like the bullied kids are being dramatic and they should be tougher and all that. People are like, oh, you should learn to develop a tough skin or all this other crap. Yes, Jake.
I remember I was at work once, and I tend not to take part in these conversations at work just because I don't really, I'm there to work and not to talk politics or other things. So it was just kind of conversation I heard off to the side. And so, I mean, and they were talking about bullying in school. And this one guy, he was actually for it because he felt that it toughened up the kids that were being bullied.
Mm.
That was, I don't know. I try not to take part in these conversations at work just because I don't want to make my work more difficult. So I tend not to.
Mm. That really sucks.
I know I had to fight other kids at school,
Yeah.
elementary school.
Like, teachers aren't allowed to intervene because of society saying, oh, if teachers intervene in bullying, they're abusing kids, and teachers don't really have any power to tell bullies to stop their behavior because then they get disciplined and they get told, oh, they're doing wrong. You don't have any power here, and they get disciplined for trying to stop bullies, and it's very unfair. We're all quiet tonight. Are we okay?
Yes.
Sorry, I'm naturally quiet. Yeah. I was bullied as a kid, so in that made my school years difficult. So.
Yeah.
It makes me have some not so fond memories of that time. So I know when occasionally I'll see these things floating around and I was like, what would you tell yourself or your like 14 or 15-year-old self? And I would tell him that it gets better, chin up, it'll be okay. But this won't be forever.
Yeah, I mean, it's like bullying is one of the worst pandemics out there. And I think it's really worse than the COVID-19 pandemic will ever be because bullying doesn't stop and there's different levels, between children, and there's even bullying between adults. And that's the worst part because children learn from adults, like they see adults bullying each other, so they mimic. And so nobody ever gets better towards each other.
Mm-hmm.
And then it escalates, like bullying escalates into fights, and fights escalate into wars, and everything goes to hell in a handbasket. Yeah.
And I know that this kind of, I don't know if it's really bullying, but I was driving up highway today and I passed a FedEx truck, and the FedEx truck of all things started tailgating me. I was just like, really? I was like, all I did was pass you. I didn't cut you off. I didn't tailgate you. I don't know. It was just,
It is
and
if
it
you
was
believe it to be.
huh?
It is if you believe it to be. They were offended and they're offended over something petty, over you passing them, and they're taking it out on you. That is bullying.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you live, Jake?
Colorado.
Okay. Yeah, you wouldn't think that people would be too aggressive driving out there because you don't have too many people out there.
Well, so I don't. Part of our problem is that we have so many transplants because we have California people moving here. We have people from Texas moving here, and then other various places. So, and everybody has their own driving habits from where they live, and they come here, and then we can't have like 5 different groups of people from 5 different places trying to all trying to drive together. And then also, as much as I was for it, as far as population goes, the marijuana legalization didn't help much, because after that, a lot of people moved here because they wanted to smoke pot. I mean,
You definitely shouldn't do it when you're driving, though. It's terrible.
But so that like that made our population jump up. So,
well, Massachusetts is considered the worst state for drivers. But, like, most of it, because we have 7 million people in a very small area.
It's sad, isn't it? People just find ways to get mad at others over petty things, and that's where bullying starts. Or there's some sort of level of inequality somewhere, and that's another source of bullying. And that causes people to not accept themselves and find joy in themselves. And those who find shame in themselves, like, get angry at themselves, and they get angry at others, they act out because they're angry at themselves. That's why bullying exists. Bullies are angry at themselves, and they can't control their situations, so they try and make others miserable so they won't feel so miserable about themselves. And then they lash out, like through driving or whatever else, through demonstrating racism, hate, prejudice, indifference, violence, however they can. Yeah. Thoughts?
I like your background, Jake.
Oh, thank you. I know it's been, I've had it at the Discovery Transporter room for like most of our meetings, and then I was like, maybe it's time for a change. So I was like, well, since we're watching Voyager, I'll go find a Voyager background. So.
Oh, well, you know what? I like that. You know what? Jake always brings such a good spirit and good words to our meetings. I like that. So before we watch, does anybody have any preliminary thoughts about the episode?
No, not really. I know I don't. So, as I said before, Voyager is probably I'm not as familiar with Voyager as the other series. So, because the other series, I think I've seen them multiple times, and Voyager, I've only seen it once straight through. So,
really? You were saying something?
Yeah, Voyager, I've only seen it like straight once through. The only episodes I've really seen more than once was the Borg episodes, but so I'm not as familiar with it as I am the other shows. Because I mean, pretty sure some of the episodes I can just straight up quote. So I was cleaning the other day, and I was listening to the soundtracks from the movies. And as I was listening to the soundtrack, I knew what was happening in the movie as the soundtrack was playing.
Oh my goodness. You know what? I dare you to, you know what? As captain, I dare you to show off your talent. I'm not going to order it because it's your choice, but I dare you. I dare you to show off your talent of quoting movies. Come on. Can you do it? Do you want to?
No.
Okay, you don't have to. But that's amazing. Like, I thought you were cool because of that little list you showed us in that one meeting we had, like the chronological list, but holy crap, you just ascended to another level of uber coolness. That is so awesome. What about like the bullying laws in your areas? What do they have in terms of like bullying laws and how to get along? What do they have in terms of laws about that? Like anti-bullying laws and how to get along with people. What do they say about those laws in like your schools and your communities? Do they have anything like that?
Well, they've strengthened them in Massachusetts because when I was young, there was no anti-bullying laws whatsoever. But the state legislature has been really good about recently changing the laws and making a lot of laws since 2000, I would say, for anti-bullying.
Because, you know, I mean, I don't know if this is a stretch, but bullying as well as racism, indifference, prejudice, I suppose bullying, especially if it's a person of another ethnicity and race, I suppose bullying is a form of a hate crime. So we need to be extra sensitive that we ourselves aren't perpetrators and that we help those who are being bullied so that they don't feel alone or forgotten or end up hurt because we didn't do something, you know?
When I lived on Cape Cod, they used to bully kids who came from other areas who weren't born on Cape Cod. So we were from New Jersey. So my brothers and I both got bullied.
I'm sorry to hear that. Did you get a check? Were there resources to talk to someone?
Not really, no.
Are there now, like for kids who are getting bullied now?
Yes, there are.
Good.
Yeah.
Very good. What about you, Jake? What are your thoughts on what's being said?
So unfortunately, I haven't really kept up with the Colorado laws and bullying, so I don't.
Well, what about in your place of work? What are the rules on it? Do you know those?
So they have like a let's see, a zero tolerance policy. They do not tolerate like any kind of bullying or discrimination or anything. So I mean, for the most part, people at work are pretty good. So I haven't had any real issues with anybody at work. So I know the one incident I did hear about, one of the employees got fired, and then the other one, he was kind of the instigator. I know he ended up just resigning a few weeks later.
That's, you know, I wish there was, yeah, Jake?
Oh, go ahead.
No, you can finish. It's okay. It's, I don't know. It's not really a big problem at work. It's just, some people get frustrated when their projects don't go through or it's not working the way that they would like it to, but we work through that stuff. So it's not, and I'm not really sure if getting frustrated over just because you didn't get your things exactly the way you wanted them, that's not really, I wouldn't really class that as bullying. So Yeah.
It can become bullying if you try to do or try to take that out on other people.
Well, that's the thing. People get angry because they don't get their way or something doesn't work out for them, and then they do take it out on other people. Like sometimes things happen that are beyond their control and they're not anybody's fault, but people try to place blame so that they can feel better.
Mhm.
But unfortunately, they sometimes take it too far and it escalates and it doesn't need to.
Mhm.
So what's your cat's name, Jake?
My cat is Baby. So that was so I adopted her from a family. They had multiple cats. But this is another interesting little segue into our episode.
Oh, I love
So
it.
so I guess the other cats were bullying her, and they so she wasn't able to like eat her food or anything like that. So the owners wanted to find her a good home. So I know where I work at, one of the owners, they put up a just like a picture of her, and they gave her away for free. So but her name was Baby when I got her, so I didn't feel the need to change her name. So
Well, you were probably the best solution for that cat. The cat was ashamed of herself because of the bullying that she was experiencing, and the owners wanted to make sure that she could go to a place where she could be loved and love herself, and she came to you. And you're loving her as she is, and she's hopefully no longer ashamed of herself. Obviously not. She's running all over your desk and into your arms and being very happy.
Yep, she is. So I know she usually watches Star Trek with me. So
Oh
watching
my
Star Trek.
goodness. She
So
was adopted into a very good family then. You're a good cat daddy.
so she'll lay on my lap and we'll watch Star Trek.
You have a Trekkie pet. That's awesome. What does your shirt say, Eileen?
It says keep calm. Union Jacks.
Nice.
See.
Very nice. Well, I usually give about half an hour or so for conversation before, in case people struggle to come in on time, and I wanted to do that. And since nobody else is coming in, should we watch the episode and then allow people? Do you have a way to watch?
I queued it up.
Well, you did. Okay, good. So does everybody want to do that now?
So I'll get it queued up, and then I'm probably gonna pause it for 10 minutes so I can go pop my laundry in.
Yeah, you're fine. We've already discussed it. You don't need to be ashamed of your need for more time. We already discussed that.
So I know I had meant to so my plan for today was I was gonna get up like early and go because the day was like nice, so I wanted to make it to the nature center and hang out there for the nice weather. And I was supposed to be back by 2 or 3 in the afternoon, and then the weather was so nice that I decided I want to take another walk around the park.
Oh, you know what? It's in nature. Why are you acting ashamed of this? Tisk, you need this episode just as much as the rest of us do. Like literally, don't be ashamed of getting out and enjoying the nice weather. You know what I did last night, Jake, and I am not ashamed of it at all. And I will tell you this to help you stop being ashamed of what you did today. Do you know what I did? I literally went to a little night at a local museum with the mask on, and they were having like this music playing, and a couple of the exhibits were open, and people were able to come and browse and enjoy for a few hours, and I went. So we never need to be ashamed of the mental health breaks that we take for ourselves, and the time and the love that we give ourselves. Okay. Talk about them, enjoy them, love them, wear them on your sleeve, wear your heart on your sleeve. Eileen, did you do anything fun today?
I went for a walk as well.
You did? What'd you see?
Yeah, just walk. It just really walked down the street.
Oh, well, that's great.
I didn't see the wolves today. We have wolves in Weymouth. We have some guy owns half wolf, 2 half wolves. They're half husky, half wolf.
Oh, that's really great. That's great to get the dogs out and yourself out.
Yeah.
Again, I hope you don't mind the glasses. I need them to see long distances. I had glasses when I was younger, but I threw them away when I was 10 because they were ugly, but I need them now again that I'm old.
Well, I know I wore glasses when I was younger. And then I went to boot camp, and I didn't like the glasses that they're going to make us wear. And all of a sudden I didn't need to wear glasses anymore. So
Your eyes got stronger.
so, yeah. Well, I'm nearsighted, so I still need glasses for seeing long distance and things.
Yeah, I'm nearsighted as well. Oh, don't we look cool in our glasses?
I'm actually nearsighted in one eye, farsighted in the other. So I compensate. I have lazy eyes. That's why my eyes see independently.
Yeah, I used to, you know what? I used to have an eye that just would go off to the side. And people would always ask, oh, are you looking at me? Or are you looking at me? Lazy eye, lazy eye.
I had the surgery to correct that, but they
never
never did correct how I see though.
Yeah.
I still see it.
Strabismus repair is quite annoying, actually. You have to wear a cup over your eye for a week and wear sunglasses, but you know, it makes you it makes you look better in the end. And I don't know, it helps with esteem. It may not improve your vision, but it does help with esteem, doesn't it? Yeah. I suppose I need this episode a lot too. I guess I'm not immune from feeling self-ashamed. Does that make me a bad captain? Probably not. But you know, it's okay. That's why we have these clubs, so we can be vulnerable with each other in a safe space.
So this is Lineage?
Yes, season 7, episode 11.
I didn't realize, because I was looking it up in Memory Alpha, and I was like, season 7? Wow.
Yes, I don't watch them in order. I think about it, and you know, I consult with the senior staff and when they're not busy, and I think about what can we benefit from? What can this club benefit from? And depending on the current events in the world, I may pop something special in, or depending on if I write something, I may drop something special into a week. Hence why you had to listen to 2 weeks of me talking about Julian and Garrick and all their crazy stuff. Yeah. Perks of being captain. Anyway, does anybody have any questions before we go and watch? All right. All right, so I'm going to go invite you to watch, do whatever you need to now. And if you have any questions, just please post them in the chat and I will attend to them.
Okay, will do. Thank you.
All right. Love you both. See you after.
Okay.
See ya.
I'm sorry, Lieutenant. I'm not in this kind of work. It's a busy day. I'm fine. I'm detecting another life cycle. Where? Inside B'Elanna Torres. Could be a parasite. Go ahead. A big company Lieutenant Torres to sit there. What's wrong? I believe she's pregnant.
I'm finished. Jake is still watching. Did we want to wait for him or did we want to talk?
I suppose we could talk a little bit. Yeah.
Okay. That was a good episode, wasn't it? It was also very deep.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are your thoughts on what we watched?
Actually, it made me think of something that happened in my childhood. When B'Elanna had gotten the worms on her sandwich, it reminded me of the kids who told me I should have died instead of my brother.
I'm sorry.
My brother died in a car accident. I mean, it's terrible that he died in a car accident, but they kind of made it worse, saying I should have died instead of my brother.
I'm sorry. Well, just so you know, I don't agree with them. Because if you had, I wouldn't have met you today. We wouldn't be here talking. I wouldn't get to know your wonderful insights. So I'm glad you're here. Is that why you were crying? Oh, well, if I could, I would hug you through the screen, but screens aren't like that yet.
Thanks.
It's okay, you can cry.
I say it's one of the best episodes of Voyager.
Mm-hmm. I think it is too. You know, it talks about self-acceptance and understanding that not everything's in your control and that you may not be in control of what happens, but you can control how you respond, and that even though your life of origin may be crappy, your life of creation doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
Like, just because B'Elanna's father was a bit of a, I hate to use the term bigoted loser, but he was. B'Elanna herself didn't have to be like that. And Tom was definitely not like that. He's like, I'm going to love you and this Klingon child, no matter what. I'm not like your father.
I actually think he just didn't understand. I don't think Kirk thought it was that bigoted. Or he wouldn't have been with Klingon in the first place, but
that's true.
He just didn't understand what she was going through.
Yeah. And, you know, it's also, you know, it actually brings up another interesting point. People lash out and react inappropriately to what they don't understand quite often.
Yeah.
And that's how fights get started and conflicts. It's quite sad. Like, that's how blame gets misappropriated, and people call each other dramatic instead of really taking the time to assess a situation. And it's truly sad.
Yeah. Well, I knew what I was getting into watching it because I knew what it was about. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to watch it.
Yeah. And you watched it, which is very brave of you. And it's also very brave of you to cry and let yourself cry and be vulnerable and open.
This is my brother who died in a car accident.
Oh.
He looked a lot like me. In fact, one of his teachers said, "Are you Pat's sister?" When I saw them in a store. And then he asked how Pat was, and I had to tell him that Pat died. Yeah.
My condolences.
Thank you. I've actually lost everybody in my family, which is another reason I'm like close to tears, because like in the past 10 years, I lost my brother, Mike, and my father and my mother. But Pat I lost in 1977. So it was a long time ago, but it still hurts. Never get over a loss.
No, you don't. But you know, you're doing good in their memory, and you're doing good and just hanging in there and doing the best you can and doing good for others. And you keep their memory alive by talking about them and thinking about them and loving them in your heart.
Yeah. Actually, Pat was the one who got me involved in Star Trek.
Exactly. And by continuing to love Star Trek, even though it's hard for you to watch episodes like this, you're saying, I'm not ashamed of my brother. I love my brother, and that he got me into this. So you're keeping him alive through Star Trek.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I think he would be very proud of you for doing that. And I'm going to say that without shame. I'm sorry if it makes you cry harder. No, I'm not actually. Apologies. I'm not apologizing.
But I lost my brother Mike when he was 54 in 2011.
Oh, that's too young.
I'm now older than him. I was 9 years younger than him and 10 years younger than Pat. But it's strange being older than Mike now.
Yeah. My condolences again.
Yeah. My parents were both 82, so it wasn't that the loss, but it was to lose my siblings.
Your parents were still important to you, though, so that was still
Yes.
a loss.
Yeah. But I always thought, 82 is a good life.
Yeah.
They didn't die young or anything.
Yeah.
But oddly, they were both 82 when they died. So I figure that's probably my lifespan. I'll be 82 when I die.
Oh, goodness.
Probably.
I'm sure
Life-
you have a long lifespan yet.
30 years. Probably about 30 years.
Yeah, lots
Sure.
more Star Trek conventions to go to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they're probably going to have them, even with COVID raging. They're going to figure out a way.
Yeah.
They're not.
Yeah, well, they already have the ship cruises. I heard that there's going to be one in 2023 or something, maybe even
Yeah,
2023.
that sounds fun. Maybe if
Yeah.
I'd like to go on one of those someday, but I'll settle for a con this year, to be honest.
Yeah. I only want to go on the cruise if it's in Alaska.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't want to go anywhere else.
Yeah.
For one, I always think about how toilets can break down on on cruises. So I don't know if I ever really want to go on a cruise.
Mm-hmm.
I used to take day cruises though, and on Cape Cod.
That's nice. That sounds like a camping trip on the water. I love that.
Yeah.
And speaking of camping, what did you get out of this episode besides that it reminded you of that? What inspired you? What
Well, I could understand how she was feeling about the ridges on her forehead, how she wanted to get rid of her child because that was why she was ridiculed.
Mm-hmm.
I could see that.
Yeah, because
But at the end of the episode, she felt more accepting of herself. So she kind of accepted that her child could have the ridges.
yeah, because Tom Paris, let's face it, Tom Paris is the hero of the episode. He basically said, I'm not going to leave you. I'm not going to leave our baby. Who cares if you're both Klingon? It's awesome.
It was definitely good. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's talking about not being ashamed of yourself and who you are as a people. There's so many people in this world that are ashamed of themselves and their true identity. So they disguise themselves and they let other people label them and paint them and talk them into being someone that they don't want to be, just because it'll be easier to be accepted, and that's hard.
I've always I've always been upfront about who I was, and people just had to accept me for the way I was.
Well, they shouldn't have to. They should want to, because you're great. You know that? You're amazing.
Seems like your internet died.
Oh, well, I'm here.
Yeah.
You're great. You know that?
Yeah.
And you should never think otherwise, no matter what anybody else may say.
Yeah.
And I mean, have you besides B'Elanna, I mean, can you think of other Star Trek characters who may feel the way you feel, like always being
Wait,
honest?
true.
What?
I mean, excuse me, I said the wrong last name. Frig. The guy in Star Trek Next Generation. Dwight. This is his real name. I'm trying to remember. It's engineering.
Geordie?
No, the white guy.
Barclay?
Let me see.
All right.
Yeah, Berkeley, Reginald Berkeley. He had Asperger's,
He did.
so
Huh?
he's different. And so, I mean, I have Asperger's, so I could relate to him.
I do. I know that. I'm on the spectrum as well. So
Yeah.
Yeah, Barclay was something else. He was very
Yeah.
creative, but you know, he was scared of himself and scared of fitting in, and he was often mocked, and he
Yes.
relied on the holodeck a lot.
Yes. I remember he ended up getting a cat. He had this cat on Voyager when he
Mhm.
spoke with the Voyager people. And it was like this Persian cat.
Mhm.
It was actually the Fancy Feast cat.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
I just know he was responsible for reconnecting Voyager and Starfleet. That's all I know about him and Voyager.
Yeah. Well, they showed his cat in several of the episodes he was in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the Fancy Feast cat, the one that puts its paw on the
Okay, I don't
cat.
really watch the Fancy Feast commercials, but I believe you.
Yeah. I know because the orange cat that's in Next Generation is Data's cat. Is
Spot.
Morris the cat. It's actually Morris the cat.
Yeah, and Data, I don't know if you would classify Data as someone with a disability. If he were human, you could. He could technically have a disability because he is neurotypical, not having emotions. And I suppose that is comparable to someone with a disability, because I don't know, people with disabilities and divergencies really struggle with proper emotions and appropriate responses, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Yeah, but Purina gave Star Trek The Next Generation the Morris the cat to use for Data's cat.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I know because I went to a cat show where they actually said that. So.
Well, that's really awesome. And you know, it's interesting. You know, they've actually paid so little attention to pets in Star Trek.
Yeah.
They should pay more attention.
There was only been a few, but
yeah.
But Porthos was cute. Porthos was actually 3 different dogs.
Well, yeah, you can't expect a dog to work the hours of an actor. They get tired.
And yeah.
But no Starfleet captain or officer should ever be ashamed of owning a pet or loving pets enough to own them. I mean,
yeah.
And they needed to do something because I don't think early Starfleet policies allowed for families on board ships. So they had to have something to keep them company, didn't they?
Yeah. I liked Grudge and Star Trek Discovery. Have you seen Discovery?
I've seen bits and pieces of it. I have to really watch. I haven't really seen many episodes of Grudge. I have to watch that season where Grudge is.
Grudge is a Maine Coon cat, about 20 pounds.
Oh gosh. I need to really watch those because I haven't gotten as deeply into those seasons as the other ones. I've seen the earlier ones, but I really haven't gotten into season 3 yet and season 4 yet. I should.
Mm-hmm.
But I will. It's just a little harder for me to access. I have to go use Crave or something like that because it's not available on Netflix and I don't have it. Paramount Plus or anything like that. Not being in the States and all,
But that show that we've just watched talks a lot about inheritance, and my brother Mike had a heart murmur just like my mother.
Yes. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
it did talk a lot about birth defects and it's frightening. It's very frightening what a parent will see as a birth defect because B'Elanna tried to see her daughter's whole Klingon heritage as a birth defect. She actually violated the doctor. It's still a big question as to whether or not the doctor is an actual sentient being, but she violated the doctor and reprogrammed technology just to try and get this Klingon heritage erased from an innocent child for no reason except out of fear.
Yeah.
And that's a very sad thing to do. I mean, just because she herself was bullied, she feared that Tom might do the same to their daughter. And Tom's not like that at all. Tom grew so much in the course of Voyager that he would never do that to a child. Even when he was irresponsible, he would never be prejudiced towards a child.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's, some, even like in the real world, I'm sure there are companies just trying to get the governments to pass laws and encourage parents to see all sorts of things as birth defects. And it's unfortunate that people can't really enjoy their children the way they are. Like, it's like, I mean, I get when things are medically threatening.
Yeah.
Get them medically taken care of. But when things are just like a cosmetic thing, like, why not just?
Yeah.
And people can be so cruel and it's terrible. Why not just teach people to love each other a little more? And if there's a defect that's not medically threatening, just teach other people, okay, so this is how someone is. It doesn't make them any less special. It doesn't make them any less beautiful. Love them, care for them, don't treat them differently. Because you would expect compassion and love too if you were this way. But that's just my take. I don't know if it's right or wrong or crazy or what.
I think it's right.
Yeah. So. And so the second child, I believe Meryl was the second child born on Voyager, right?
I guess so, yeah.
The second and the last.
Yeah. And Naomi Wildman's father was on Deep Space Nine, apparently. I don't think he was actually on the show Deep Space Nine, but in Voyager, they were saying that he was on Deep Space Nine.
Well, yeah, he was probably just chilling there because
Yeah.
the Voyager wasn't just expected to do like a milk run.
Yeah.
They weren't expected to be gone like 7 years.
Yeah.
75 or whatever.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they come back and then he's just got this grown daughter. Like, holy crap. He missed like how many years with her?
Yeah.
And then to have B'Elanna pregnant, one of the tough Klingon baddies that everybody's afraid of, who broke somebody's nose just to and one of her first acts on the ship as a Starfleet crew member on the ship.
I broke a boy's nose when I was in elementary school too.
Well,
Strangely.
well, I admit I'm not innocent of hitting somebody either, and they were harassing me.
Well, yeah, I mean, he was harassing me. He kept harassing me. And then they swung my metal lunchbox and hit him in the face.
Oh, yeah. But you know, the whole ship just came to life when B'Elanna was discovered to be pregnant.
Yeah. I always felt closer to that character than any other character in
B'Elanna?
Star Trek. B'Elanna, yeah.
Why?
Because of the fact that she was she had a temper on her, and I always had a temper.
That's what made her special. She had a temper, and
Yeah.
she learned that through
I
trial.
remember her breaking the glass table. She broke a glass table.
Oh, she probably broke a lot of things and broke a lot of noses.
Yeah.
And it's like the whole ship came to life when they found out she's going to have a baby. And it's like, everybody, we're going to protect her. She's so cool. She's going to be a mom.
Yeah.
Like Tom and B'Elanna had no family on the ship, like no biological family. Tom's father was back at Starfleet. He wasn't sure if what his son was doing. And they're like, oh, we got to protect these little children. They're having children themselves. Oh my Lord, we feel so old now.
Yeah.
And I bet Janeway legit felt like a grandma.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm going to go now because I'm not sure when Jake is going to be back, and I'm just getting tired.
Oh, did you enjoy your time with us?
Yes. Yeah.
I loved having you.
Thank you.
It was so lovely to have a conversation with you. And I'm so glad you were able to come and spend some time with us and talk. And I hope you come back.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Have a good night.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. Love you. Hello,
Hey,
how are you? How did you like the
I forgot
episode?
to unmute my audio. Hey,
Hi.
thank you for your understanding.
No problem. Eileen got tired though and had to leave, but you and I can converse.
Okay. So, but yeah, I was just about ready to take the laundry over to the laundry room and I couldn't find my laundry room key. So I spent like a good 10-15 minutes just looking for my laundry room key.
Oh no.
So that's how I ended up being so far behind, because otherwise it was like, because it's about 5 minutes, it's like a 5-minute walk there and back. So so I was thinking that I was just going to be like 10 minutes behind. I didn't realize you guys were going to be almost finished before I even got started again. Because
Well,
I think
that's
I
all
had watched
right.
like yeah, I had watched like 7 minutes of it before I went and did all that.
That's all right. So what did you think of it?
Um, so I really enjoyed it. So I know there's um, I know there's kind of an image of like Tom Paris being like this I don't know, your typical pilot, like cocky, uh, whatever. But I really respected how he handled that situation. So,
Yeah, Tom is sort of a hero in this episode because he's like, you really think I'm going to be like your father and leave you just because I have to live with two Klingons? Oh, the two Klingons is nothing. I love you and I'm going to love our daughter no matter what. So snap out of this and stop trying to change our daughter. Our daughter's beautiful and so are you.
mhm. Yep. So, and then let's see. Let's see. I did have a thought, and then I'm having this. Oh, and I was just thinking about like what I was actually just got back from the laundry room because I was gonna toss the laundry in the dryer. But I know on my way back, I was just thinking about like what his father said to her, and I don't think he had the messaging quite right.
I'm
Because he was
intrigued. What do you mean
Hmm?
by the messaging?
Like he was telling her that she shouldn't be so sensitive. I mean, which is partially true. I mean, the kids are probably just joking. They didn't really mean to hurt her like they did, um, but rather than like telling her that um, she should stop being so sensitive, maybe he should try to get to the more of the heart of this issue of why she was being so sensitive. And I think it really, she was feeling bad about being partly Klingon. I think that's the part that really needed to be addressed.
Yeah, and
So that's,
she did try to run away and she got upset because she heard him trashing her mother and the Klingon race. And
mhm.
yeah,
So yeah, I think that whole his messaging to her was he could have done a better job there. So,
but you know, I think in Star Trek culture, humans, like just typical plain humans with no modifications or no different species to them, have always had a bit of an insensitivity when it comes to different ideas. And you know, Dr. Phlox even called Captain Archer out on this. If you are going to embrace new worlds, you must also learn to embrace new ideas.
mhm.
I think that's a quote. Don't quote me on that. I don't know if it's entirely right. But I think typical humans in Star Trek have always had trouble embracing that, which is different. But Tom Paris, he's kind of an exception.
So yeah, he like I said, he did. I thought he did like a real phenomenal job in the episode, just because. So I know one of the things one of the points that I really respected was B'Elanna tells him that you don't know what it's like, and Tom was just like, okay, tell me. So
He played
so
husband and father to be and therapist all in one.
yeah, I thought that was really cool. I was like, wow, good job.
He's like, I don't get this, but I want to get this so I can try to care about it. He's like, I don't have your experience. I will never have your experiences. I won't be a Klingon ever, but I want to understand the pain you feel about being a Klingon. So can I come into your experience and be a part of it? Will you invite me into your space and share your experience with me?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Kind of thing. And he did it in such a respectful way. And he wasn't like pushy or anything. He just kind of like, tell me what's going on. Let me help you. Let me be your husband.
Mm-hmm. Right. Right. Yeah, that approach just so he was like, it gave her like permission, I guess, even though she didn't really need it, permission to like voice what she was feeling, but it didn't like belittle her, make her or talk down to her.
Yeah. And it's like, a human Klingon marriage is pretty much a good example of intersectionality, I think, because it's literally like one species and another coming together, having to learn each other's cultures and traditions and feelings and emotions and experiences, and love each other enough to let each other into each other's spaces, even though one cannot possibly be another. And then when they have a child, to learn each other's cultures and traditions and everything enough to be able to have the best of both worlds.
Because I mean, so like their daughter isn't just going to be human, partially Klingon. So, and the daughter needs to be proud of both.
Yeah.
And part of being proud of both is like being able to understand what both is all about, and so.
And obviously, Tom took to the Klingon side a little more, because I mean, we see in a later episode him actually dressing up in the Klingon garb and getting the bat'leth and fighting with actual Klingons.
I don't actually remember that. So.
We'll get to it. We might include that in the family episode in Family Month. I might actually include that.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I know I've seen it because I've seen every episode of Voyager, but like I said, I think Voyager and the original series are the two shows that I'm really not. I have the least experience with.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to do something about that.
So, but like, because I was like with Voyager, before I watched any of the rest of the shows, it was the Borg episodes. That was actually my first Enterprise episode too, was Regeneration. I got this Borg DVD set and it had like every Borg episode on it. So I watched all those, and so for some reason, that's when I kind of took a liking to Enterprise, and I started watching Enterprise. I picked up Voyager later, but.
Well, now that I know you haven't really seen Voyager and TOS, I do have a plan to, I think I will. I think it's called Prophecy, and I think I might put that on the list for the Family Month. Because you will really enjoy it. If you can wait till 2022.
Oh boy, 2022, because Strange New Worlds probably coming out in early, I would think April or May. So something else for me to look forward to in 2022. I guess I've been all excited about Strange New Worlds, but
That is true. So we probably do need to watch a little TOS, or maybe even, I don't know if you can get Discovery, if other people can get Discovery. Maybe we needed to even watch a little Discovery to watch Captain Pike outside of the wheelchair. Who knows? Because I think everybody would I think everyone would just cry just to see the menagerie. So I don't want to do that to people. You would cry if you saw the menagerie.
Well, you can probably just watch The Cage and you get most of what's in the menagerie. But...
Well, even you, a tough old bugger, would cry if you saw Pike in that chair. So I don't want to subject you to that. Well, I think both The Cage and the menagerie I've seen. There's like a handful of TOS episodes that I've seen more of. And actually Cage is one of them. The menagerie, not so much, just because it's like a two-parter, so I haven't. You have to a lot more time for that. And then like I actually had the VHS Tomorrow's Yesterday, and actually love that episode too. So, That's
but
awesome.
so I've seen that.
That's awesome.
So I've seen that like 20 times. And then the con.
Oh, you've seen the con ones. Oh, good.
Yep. So I don't know I watched Wrath of Khan and I was just like, what are they talking about? I mean, when did Kirk meet Khan? So I had to go back and see that. So I found the VHS of that and begged my parents to buy it for me. So
well, there's no shame in that. You can watch Star Trek as many times as you like. That's why that's why it's everywhere. It's like a happy pandemic, Star Trek.
So then I think it's like the Mirror episode is the other one that I've seen more of.
Yeah, we have a Mirror month scheduled in 2022. We discussed that as a senior staff.
So I know there's like a lot of Discovery Mirror episodes, but so if I was to nominate a Mirror Universe episode, it was the two-parter Giorgio from season 3, just because it has so many great character moments for her. So.
And who could be ashamed of Giorgio? Even the Mirror Giorgio. Oh, queen.
Yeah.
You want to nominate that? You go ahead and nominate that. We've got a space in the message board.
So, yeah, it's a two-parter. So that's
yeah, you go ahead. I'm serious. You want to nominate that? You go to the Club IDIC group and nominate that, or message me and remind me, and I'll put that up. I will seriously do it. Because I like that one too.
Cool.
Paul Gulafile from CSI's in that, and I like him. He was a good Jim Brass. That's what that little dude reading the paper, that's who he was.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I've never seen CSI, so I don't know.
Oh, you have to. It's like good. It's a crime show. Anyway, Lineage, we should get back to that. Any other thoughts on Lineage?
So I know those were my main thoughts. So I think, and it kind of goes along with what the message of or the theme. As I think the main thing for B'Elanna was, I mean, and this was kind of like a theme for her throughout the whole show, if I remember correctly. But just her, she needs to find a way to be proud of her Klingon side.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's that's the biggest thing for her. So.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it was less of something that she was paying attention to in the Maquis, because Chakotay didn't care what people really did in the Maquis as long as they got the job done. But in Starfleet, you are forced to live by a set of rules and regulations, and you have to take a good look at yourself and what character flaws you have and kind of reset yourself in order to do things properly.
Right.
I don't know, maybe my assessment is crap, I'm not sure.
No, I think you're right. So, so I don't know, when you have to live with a lot of rules and things, I mean, what you said is exactly right. I mean, you have to know yourself. You have to find a way of living within those rules. So, I mean, and the more you know yourself, and I don't know, your place, well, the easier it will be to, I don't know, live there, I guess, if that makes sense. So not only like within the rules, but also as a crew member on Voyager.
Yeah, but it's also important that the rules are made clear to you in a kind and gentle way so that you don't feel like that will be too impossible to follow. Like, you know, maybe that's why B'Elanna had such a time actually adapting in the beginning, because I don't think Carrie was overly kind or compassionate towards her. And I get that she was very aggressive as well, but I don't think B'Elanna was given a lot of compassion, because I think in the beginning, the Maquis lost their ship. They sacrificed their ship.
I think there's like a bad connection. So I know I only heard it maybe about a third of what you said, and then your image is frozen too. So
yeah, the wind is really going crazy in my area. Is that any better?
yeah, that's better.
Anyway, I was saying that I don't think B'Elanna was given a lot of compassion in the beginning, and I'm not saying she wasn't overly aggressive, but you have to remember how the Maquis actually came onto Voyager. They had sacrificed their ship to get out of the situation they were in. They had lost their ship, and they were suddenly coming into a situation that they weren't familiar with, and B'Elanna wanted a place on the crew. Chakotay wanted that for her, and Joe Carey was just being a bit of a jerk.
Right. So I think part of that was his problems, just because I think I don't know, he might have felt threatened. I mean, just because he was like, I don't know, his position is like, I'm the chief engineer of the ship, and you will listen to what I have to say. So that was,
yeah, if
I remember right, that's kind of what his approach to that was.
If people aren't overly compassionate to each other and actually follow through whenever they promise to help each other adapt, then of course people who struggle are going to fail. If you make the promise, I understand your struggles, and I, as your moderator or whatever, your leader, promise to help you adapt. And I promise to adapt to what you need, and we'll get your mess sorted. You need to be able to follow through on that promise. Otherwise, the person that is struggling is going to fail spectacularly. And, you know, it's very unfortunate because I think Janeway was a better mentor for B'Elanna in the end than Carrie, because Carrie really, I don't think, was capable of following through on being able to help B'Elanna adapt. Janeway was able to actually see B'Elanna's strengths, as was Chakotay, and was able to help B'Elanna adapt just by being calm and talking to her and say, hey, you need to settle down and not worry.
Sorry, waking up again.
What? What's the problem?
Oh, you're breaking up again. Sorry.
Oh, well, I was just saying that, you know, Janeway and Chakotay were better mentors to B'Elanna because they were able to talk to her calmly and help her adapt and not use aggression. And B'Elanna succeeded under their tutelage because they were able to promise her mentorship and things that Carrie wasn't. And B'Elanna succeeded because of Janeway and Chakotay and not Carrie. Because when push came to shove, Janeway and B'Elanna were forced to work together in a situation to get Voyager out of a situation. And they succeeded because they were able to be calm about it and find a commonality. And if people can't find a commonality and help each other adapt, how are people going to learn to get along? I don't know. Maybe I'm going down a rabbit hole.
No, it's okay. Sorry. Because it's kind of hard to I mean, and so you're fine. What I heard was good. I just wish I had heard more.
I'm sorry. I was just talking about how B'Elanna found mentorship and help in adapting from Janeway and Chakotay. That was the gist.
Right.
The wind is
So-
very bad here tonight. And it messes with
Right. So yeah, so don't feel bad if I'm not like reacting or
it's
or
fine. It's
saying
fine.
anything. It's just with cutting out, it's kind of hard to
Yeah, I'm
get a
so
grasp
sorry
of what
about
you're trying
that.
to
I
say.
really am.
So it's okay. It's not your fault.
Yeah. So I just think B'Elanna was able to stop being ashamed of herself because of her support system, and people need support systems in order to stop being ashamed of themselves.
Mhm.
And those who don't have support systems have a harder time learning to love themselves.
Mhm.
Yeah. What are your thoughts? Or are you tired?
I was just thinking about my laundry just because I was like, so whoever had, so this is a problem with like community laundry rooms, is that somebody and it must have been in the dryer before I even put my laundry in, because the other like drying machines are all full, and they probably have been that way for a while. So I wasn't very happy.
Do you need to go and deal with that? Because we can end and we can just be done.
Yeah, we can end with that if you want.
Okay.
So I know I didn't want to leave what you said hanging. So uh so I think we do kind of a bad job in society, especially with like our education. We don't and possibly early parenting, but we don't give kids or people growing up or the proper, like what you're saying, support systems to effectively grow into the people that they're supposed to be. And I think this is partly where bullying comes in.
We don't give people a chance to be proud of themselves because we're not proud of them.
Right. So like with bullies, so they weren't given the support that they needed. And they see like adults like bullying others or bossing them around or whatever, and they think that so they feel like something is missing, and they think that, so maybe they think, sorry, let me preface that with maybe they think something is missing, and maybe they think that the way they can get that is by bullying others. They're emulating that behavior that they see in adults to try and get what.
Yeah, they do it so they can feel better about themselves and their situations. And it's really unfortunate. And that's why people grow up being ashamed of themselves. They're ashamed of themselves, so they want others to feel that same pain, so they're not alone. And it's such a pandemic. It's worse than what we're going through. Because there's no vaccine, there's no cure. It's like people just have to make the choice to stop it and to educate themselves and to people just have to make the choice to stop.
Right. So those are kind of my thoughts. Oh, sorry.
People just have to make the choice to learn to love each other more.
Right.
And your thoughts are lovely. I love your thoughts.
Thank you.
And now I'm going to let you go take care of your real life obligations. All right.
So thank you. I hope you have a good night, and I will see you next time.
Yes, and I'm sorry about my bad connection. The wind in this area is always terrible. There are jokes about the wind in this area.
Not your fault.
Yes, have a safe and good night. Live long and prosper.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you all for coming to tonight's discussion. Remember, be not ashamed of yourself. Live long and prosper.